Since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a journalist. I had big visions of being a TV news reporter, and I always wanted to be in front of a camera. First, it was being an actress, and then I realized I loved watching the news. Grew up watching things like 2020 and other nightly news programs, and I loved how the newscasters were able to tell a story. So, during the pandemic, I got to thinking about serious questions that needed to be asked and being able to use technology to bring those conversations right to the fore. So, let me just delve into a little bit more about asking the difficult conversations and how the pandemic made my interviewing skills better. In addition to those interviewing skills, I think there was also this bridge between accessibility. I know I wanted to start a podcast and an interviewing style format a really long time ago, but the pandemic made it so that people were more accessible and you could connect to people over Zoom and other teleconferencing avenues and have discussions that I don't think I would have normally had that are being televised.
So, during the pandemic, I did start to have these conversations in the community that I live in and I serve, and it was called the Harperwoods Community Check-In and Coffee Hour. Oh, Harperwoods Community Check-In and Zoom Coffee Hour, and it was a mouthful. Sometimes I need a little help with coming up with actual good titles. So, this kind of started in March as a means to check in with the community and just kind of see, like, what do you need? Do you need to just have somebody to talk to? Do you need food? Do you need supplies? Or do you just kind of want to talk things through with somebody? And, you probably haven't been out of the house in a few weeks except to run to the grocery store. So, it was just a means to kind of talk about things that felt really uncertain. And so I started doing things like inviting, our state senator in the area to come on the show and then to kind of talk about the coronavirus. And, there were other people in the area that dealt with, just kind of the emotional aspects of being isolated. So it became something that from there, I brought up the idea at work, and a coworker was saying that she had wanted to do something similar where we have conversations with entrepreneurs and small business owners, and I'm like, well, why not? So we started having what we called then coffee and conversations, and from there it became something where I'm like, okay, these are great opportunities to be able to interview folks. And stop walking around. Here, get up here. Now, please. Great opportunities to be able to interview folks and ask questions about how they have been able to, pivot, and what kind of support do they need as far as their business, and if they pivoted, like, were they online before, and what would be their advice to other businesses that are seeking to navigate some of the uncertainty of just the height of the pandemic and some of the hardships that were associated with navigating through difficult times. So we were having these conversations, and from there I really started to get introspective and wanting to ask deeper conversations and to get better at interviewing styles, just to really pick the brains of people. And I know personally this is something that I did for other jobs. I remember when I was at Quicken Loans, I would actually meet with a lot of people in leadership and just ask questions about, how did you get here? What was your path to, this particular moment that you are in now? And what would be your advice to someone else hoping to kind of walk in their truth? And, kind of doing my own research on these people, and every person that then got interviewed, I'm just like, I want to know more about them. And I looked at other interviews that they had with other people, and like, well, what did you mean by this, and you want to explain that a little bit more? And just really helping to let people see how you can truly get, the most out of an interaction with somebody and feel really inspired. Walk away feeling super inspired, like you can take on the world, or that something has been made a little bit brighter because of some sort of insight you took away from that interaction. So that was kind of like my mission with those programs. And then from there, I kind of revived, a idea for a web series that I had that kind of never took off, and it was Quick to Politic. So Quick to Politic was born from that wanting to ask people in elected positions, like, okay, well, what can we do about, some of these issues that we don't have answers to, and, asking those questions, the tough questions about maybe knowing a little bit more about the nature of the pandemic, or how could this have been avoided. And, I even reached out to professors and, just to get a perspective on what is going to be the new normal, and, where are we going from here. So it was really interesting and insightful. And then we had the tragic death of George Floyd, and it opened the door to a lot of conversations on, social justice and community policing, and the role of, just racial bias. And, so people started having these conversations around anti-racism and anti-blackness and white fragility. And, Robin DiAngelo was speaking everywhere, and Ibram Kendi was speaking everywhere. So then I started hosting similar talks on either Quick to Politic, and then in my community I hosted a Juneteenth racial healing workshop, and followed that up with a workshop on what was it called? It was called White Fragility and Anti-Blackness and White Fragility, a conversation on race relations in America. So that was part 2, held on 4th of July. And then from there, keep having these conversations is what I wanted to do. And now it's kind of taken on a life of its own, where Quick to Politic is now happening every week. And then it now has a podcast, and, it's just really, I want to keep pushing. And I think I'm realizing that this goal that I had when I was, really young, I wanted to be this television news reporter and ask these probing questions, and, just kind of get down to the bottom of having the discussions that will lead to solutions, or at least, let's talk it out. So, even if I have a disagreement with somebody, I want to be able to come up with a solution. If you don't like the way I do something, or somebody doesn't like the way something is done in general, let's talk some solutions out. Let's talk through it. So I'm a huge fan of workshops, and I'm a huge fan of, and I'm absolutely falling in love with interviewing. So, that's kind of the story of, this 6-month journey into interviewing and having tough conversations. And I want to continue to do this, and I want to look back in 6 months and see, where this has taken us. Perhaps it's taken to a level where we can continue having, conversations that are really going to be thought-provoking, and that are going to change the world in some ways, wishful thinking. So, well, thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and, remember to, if you want to. I'm not the boss of you, so if you want to support me on Patreon, you can, and the link is below. I really appreciate it, but I already appreciate you just watching this video. So this is Ernestine Lyons. Thank you for coming to my channel, and this has been a talk on having difficult conversations and learning interviewing skills. So, maybe one day I'll fulfill that dream of becoming a reporter. And that kind of also ties into, my love of writing. So, because I write all these questions, and I go out and I research, and, all that research I did in grad school, I guess it didn't go to waste. So, thank you once again for watching the video, and hope you learned a little something. And, let's see where this journey goes. If you have any particular things you want to see interviews on in the future, and or topics to discuss, political topics to discuss on Quick to Politic, world language topics to discuss in general, with the Lean Global talks, which also are a thing, and then just kind of make sure you comment below and just let me know what you think. I want to hear what you have to say. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.